Om Vasudeva Sutang Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnang Bande Jagadgurum. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I salute Krishna, Bhagavan Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the destroyer of the demons, Kamsa and Chanura, and the dear darling of the mother Devaki, and the world teacher of the universe. I salute him again and again. Om peace, peace, peace be unto us all. So we are back to reading of the Bhagavat, book 2, Skanda 2, chapter 10, and we are in the verse number 33. We ended there, today 34, on page 137 of this book. So here, previously we are reading how this creation has come, and this creation came from the Narayana, the body of Narayana, and he wished, and out of his wish came the hand, feet, leg, etc., physical. Now, the same type of, it's a description which proving that nothing is there but it is God manifesting in different ways. In the physical form, gross form, subtle form, Odidaivata, all gods and goddesses, they are all in the subtle bodies, subtle, finer, and the causal form is there. And there is a state which is transcendental. So this body, physical body is this universe, what we see. It is all came as Panchabhuta, 5 elements, and this gross manifestation. Tak charmo mangsho meda rutiro majja usti dhatavo. It is sapta dhatu. We read in the Shankaracharya says, Name sapta navak panipado nachu pastupayu nava sapta dhatur. What are the dhatu? Means what are the 7 parts of the body, limbs, the skin, top skin, and then charma, the flesh, membrane, skin, membrane, flesh. All this, and this fine blood behind that blood, and there is fat, marrow and bone. Fat, marrow and bone, 3, and skin membrane, it has division, 3 division. Skin, membrane and flesh behind that. That's why behind this we get cut, this flesh come out. The flesh, so these are, how did it come? All came from him. Simple formula. That means it is everything. In another sense it is saying nothing but God. But given gross description you wanted, how this physical world came, how these physical bodies have been created, it came from him in this way. So we read that, verse number 31, that all these products of the combination, they came from where? Earth, water, fire. As we here eat, no? From that the body is formed. From the food, or bones and marrows, flesh, everything is created. Skin, how it heals if you cut. Then skin, grows. We call it skin grows. How does it come from? From the food. So from the gross food, these gross things come. So while the prana is a product, this prana is a product of the combination of akasa, means space, water and wind. Anyhow, how it, what it, we need not have to know. Meaning, everything is created from these fundamental elements, and that has come from God. And God wished. He need not have to do anything. He wished and things happened. Actually, things happen. No. Ultimately, it will come Vedanta. These are all created. So long you are seeing in this waking state, you are thinking about how it is created. But nothing is created. It is only one absolute truth. So, even in the Bhagavad, this story and telling in a very natural way of making us understand how the formation of the body, skin, blood, thin, etc. happen. It is from the 5 elements. 5 elements came from where? 24 cosmic principle. 24 principle where? It is in God. And God, how it came? He just wished and it started. So this is we read. Now today, manifestation from other points of view. So now they are talking about how other views are there. 34th verse. Different from this gross form of the Lord described above, in his subtle form, behind the gross one as its cause. So there is this gross form of the Lord, which has been described just now, the 7 things they are described, the skin, flesh, bone, etc. Is subtle. There is another body. This is the gross body, there is another subtle body. In your dream, we have another body, is it not? They are now describing about the gross body, but there is another body, which is subtler body, finer body, as in dream body. So, his subtle form, behind the gross one, as its cause. It came from the cause to gross. Subtle manifested like a seed manifested into plant manifested into tree. Similarly, it is subtler than all the subtlest aspect of Prakriti, is unmanifested to the senses. The senses cannot perceive that. Beyond the ordinary powers of speech and mind, and without any beginning or end. This is the causal form of which the gross is a manifestation. So that is the causal, that's the cause of this gross universe. It behind is the causal universe. And there will be, and then root will be then behind it, and that is God. And God behind is the Satchidananda, that's all. Both this form of the Lord I have described are, don't think they are true. Both the things, these forms of the Lord, gross form and this form we have described, are the projections of the power. It is a projection of the power Maya Shakti. Maya means that which is not, but appears to be so. So, don't think these are all real. Yes, now it appears real, but ultimately it is the play of Maya. Whose Maya? Whose Maya? Your Maya? Maya of the cosmic reality. Brahman with Maya. So it is the Shakti, the power of Brahman. So, it is said that both this form of the Lord I have described are the projections of His capital, His power, which is called Maya. The wise one, therefore, do not accept them as final. Those who are wise people, They don't take this as real, or this form is ultimately real. It manifests, sometimes it does not manifest. So that is but go beyond them. That means go to the transcendental truth, Brahman. See how starting from one point and they are pointing towards the goal another way. 36th verse. The Lord, who is both active and actionless. The Lord becomes active, that's why manifestation came. Inactive, he sleeps, the whole universe consumed into him. Then he becomes Narayana, lying in the ocean and in deep sleep. So he is sleeping or he is manifesting kinetic potential. So the Lord, who is both active and also actionless, assumes the form of Brahma and projects beings as ideas, as entities, and as performing different functions. Before construction of this house, it was a conception, no? People are thinking, oh, there will be one temple, this big it will be, there will be some pews, so many pews. It's all, nothing was real then. It was all in imagination. Engineers, the planners, they are planning, that's called that's an imagination. And there we say, oh, this line, this, and then when it is finalized in the plan, then manifestation comes. Construction started making this feet, they measure this feet, that feet, and then walls are built up. So the gross world is planned by ordinary people in this way. The cosmic planner, God, he also planned in this way. So the Lord, who is both active and actionless, assumes the form of Brahma. So as a Brahma, the first projection, and he projects beings, he creates beings, not gross, as ideas. There will be flying bird, there will be trees, there will be reptiles, there will be oceanic water, there will be aquatic animals, all these he planned. So it is in the mind, in the planning stage, performing different functions, and they thought, hey, this will do, this way, that will. So it is in the conception. O King, some of his manifold creations are, who are the? He has created the entire universe. But some of the creations I name you. That name is long, long list. Verse number 37 to 40. So 4 verses. They say, you have heard the name of Prajapati. So he projected as Prajapati. Prajapati means who creates. Manu. Manu is another creator. So Brahma created Manu. Brahma created Prajapati. And Devas, he created different gods and goddesses. Rishis, the knowers of truth. They also, Pitris, forefathers. We are here, forefathers. Who created the forefathers? It is he, Brahma, in his mental way, he created that. Siddhas. Siddhas means who are perfected or who have some magical power. Charanas. Charanas means musicians who sing songs and moves around the world. Charan. And Gandharvas. Gandharvas is also celestial world. Theater. Opera singer. And going in the beautiful musicians. Then Vidyadharas. Vidyadharas are what I do not know. Same category, musician category of different grades of music. And then Asuras, the demons, demonic nature. Gujakas, Kinnaras. Kinnaras means those who are servants probably. Apsaras, beautiful damsels in the heaven.
Vidyaharas are basically magicians.
Okay, Vidyadharas are magicians. Asuras, Gujjakas, I do not know, Baba. Kinnaras, Apsaras, that's why different planes are there. After death, people go to... So different levels they go. The musicians will go to the music world, no? Those who are dancers, they will after death go to the dancing world. So many people, they will merge there. That's the plane. All are created by Brahma in his mind only, first. Kinnara, so let me count how many. Prajapatis, Manus, Devas, Rishis, Pitris, Siddhas, Charanas, Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, Asuras, Gujjakas, Kinnaras, Apsaras, Nagas. Nagas means snake, and that category of beings, serpents, Kimpurushas, reptiles. Reptiles means those aquatic reptiles. Matris, mothers, Rakshasas, Pishachas, Pretas, Bhutas. You don't understand what are the different creations. Vinayakas. And anyhow, Kushmandas, Unmadas. Unmadas means those who are mad people. Betalas, Jotudas, Grahas, birds, animals, cows, trees, mountains, snakes. In fact, all, 32. We read only 32 planes of existence in subtle level. In fact, all creatures that can be classified as moving and unmoving, as also as born of born of eggs, born of moist heat, and born of earth. Those who are born, the animals who come into being out of the mother's womb, or is born out of egg cells, or born of moist heat. There is no fungus and other things grow. See how they have observed the whole universe. Anything, they are naming so many objects, how created. They can categorize that the creation comes from either eggs, or they say born out of moist heat, born of the earth, so many plants, etc. coming from the earth. All these creatures, high and low, are all created according to the effects of their past karmas. Now they are created how? Past karma. Where the past karma came? Say, but anyhow. Because all this creation, among them there will be good people, bad people, good animal, bad animal, fragrant flower, poisonous smell. According to the dominance of the three gunas, Sattva guna, Rajas and Tamas, in them, these beings can be classified as all this description, they can be classified into three, they are saying. One is superhuman. Human is the standard. We are human. It's called Nara. We are Nara. And superhuman, they are called the Sura. And subhuman, below, they are called Naraka. Anyhow, so three planes, mainly human plane, superhuman, and those who are below the human, they are called subhuman and Naraka. O king, each of these classes is again divided into three classes by mutual actions of the gunas of one another. So even there are other three classes which is part of the Deva quality and human quality, no? More of Deva quality, less of human quality. Or human quality more, Deva quality less. Permutation, combination. Much creation has been created in the world. The Supreme Being as Bhagavan Mahavishnu, who is the Supreme Being, is God who created this Narayana. He is called Mahavishnu. Vishnu is the Narayana. And Mahavishnu, great Vishnu, who created this entire cosmos, is the support of all the three worlds. He supports the whole universe. He sustains and augments these worlds by assuming the role of incarnations among devas, men and subhuman creatures. So he sustains and augments these worlds by assuming the role of incarnation among devas. So God again appears as a human being, some incarnation, as a human form, in the gods, the special godly manifestation. They are in the devas, subhuman creatures. Yeah. So all this varied manifestation is created. And at the same time, at the time of dissolution, when all this world is consumed, pralaya, it's called pralaya, assuming the form of death and Rudra, then death comes. Rudra comes. Rudra means that which makes everything to cry. That means destruction. To consume. How to consume? We have to destroy the manifestation. That's why creation comes from him, sustenance, it is he, and destruction is consumed back into his own thing. Now, suppose anything is destroyed, where it goes to his back root cause, no? So see this body, when this body will be destroyed, where it will go? It is made of 5 elements, no? 5 elements goes back to the five root cause. The air, which is now functioning in the body, it merges into cosmic air. Is it not? Then the material, no, it is now separated. That's anyhow, I'm saying goes back to its root, that's the point. Which is now here, it goes back. In the body, it is made of all the food material which is born of earth, no? Rice, dal, this, that we eat. This physical body, it goes back to ashes. It becomes ashes. The heat in the body, with the body temperature, where does it go? It merges into the cosmic heat. Heat goes back to heat. Air goes back to air. We have in the body so much water. When it is burned into the it consumes into the water, goes back to the water cause. As if it is all borrowed. It is all borrowed items from the nature. It goes back to nature. And this nature who created? It is Narayana. So he consumes everything, means it's a destruction. So when body dies, everyone cries. But why do you cry? You have taken from the earth element, it will go back to earth element. The fire element will go back to fire element. Water element of the body will go to the water. Space, I am acquiring some space, no? When it will be destroyed, space will go to the cosmic space. So everything you borrowed is going to back to its root. That's called destruction. And that is called Rudra. God comes in the form of destruction. That's why Shiva, Rudra Murti. Rudra means dancing, destruction dance. Creation was one thing, sustenance is another thing. And unless you destroy, how the creation will come again? That's why how many people are died, how many animals are died, how many trees and plants, but a new one is again coming up. So it is a destruction, is a part of life. So Rudra, we worship fire and Rudra. It is called, and the time of dissolution, assuming the form of death, fire and Rudra, 3 form, destruction happens. Death, called the emissary of death is coming, people thought about, no? But it's a friend coming to taking away the old body. Get out. You have lived in this home for a long time. Now get out. So that it is his creation, he withdraws. And the form of Rudra, he destroys these worlds created from himself. This world created from himself, he created out of him. and he consumes into him. Like the spider. Spider, they create a net. And they can consume it within them also. Ujatha urnanavi, that's what Upanishad talks about. In the Sheta Upanishad. Urnanavi means these spiders. As they create the net, beautiful net, you see? When you see that in the cobweb is not that good, but when you create on the roadside in the tree, you see, this they create a net. Beautiful net. So what a great design. Who has given the brain to design? It's God's brain given to the spiders. And he can, when his preparation period, he can really create and he can withdraw also. So God has created this and withdraws into him. Even as the wind disperses a mass of cloud, a Rudra comes, a blast of wind comes, and the clouds are dispersed. So similarly, this creation comes and destruction disappears. This material existence disappears. The Supreme All-Perfect Being is thus described in His manifestation. But the Wise One sees Him not as this manifestation, but as the transcendent being. People, there are wise people, ignorant people like us, we see this manifestation and we rejoice when it is very blooming and lively, and we cry when it fails and crumbles. But the wise people, they do not. They know that this is only the appearance. It is nothing. It is an illusion. But truth is that unchanging truth. So the Supreme All-Perfect Being Himself is thus described in His manifestation. But the wise people see Him not as this manifestation. They don't get entangled into this manifestation. Maya. This manifestation is Maya. But they go back to the Mayi. From whom? Whose Maya is this? Brahman. Ordinary people get stuck in the wonders of this Maya, but spiritual people, they go back to the cause, which is Brahman. The Supreme Being has no birth and no birth. The Supreme Being has no birth and no work. We have work because we have unfulfilled desire, but God, Lord, He has no unfulfilled desire. So their description is meant to deny actual agency to Him, as well as these cosmic activities are performed by His Maya, they being only attribute to Him. So their description is meant to deny actual agency. What does it mean? Actually, God has no ego. That's the major thing. But we all do whatever, we have our ego. And all these cosmic activities are then, who does this? He has no ego. At the same time, this whole creation comes. How it comes? Well, by Maya. By His Maya Shakti. Magical power. You can think magical power. Magical power can create so many things which really is not existing. So, conclusion. Then the conclusion of this whole chapter is this. This canto means second skandha, second book, is ending here. What is the conclusion of the second book? That 46th verse says, I have spoken of Maha kalpa, in which the projection of the creation of these 24 categories, beginning with the Mahat Tattva, takes place, as also of intermediary kalpas. So I have talked about time. So long we have read about time. One is Mahakalpa, means projection of creation of the entire universe with its 24 categories of creation, beginning from Mahat Tattva. Mahat Tattva is the intelligence. Take place as also the intermediary kalpas, and that take place within the Maha kalpa. The order of creation in one kalpa is the same as in the other. If you say the total creation, this, suppose this creation is now here, every day it is moving towards death. And one day we hear it will be flooded, the world will go away, it will be submerged under water. And then what will happen? Again creation will come. How? The same repetition. The Gita also gives that. Yatha purvam. As in the past creation, so will be the future creation. So the order of creation in one kalpa, one period of time, is the same as in the others. Each Mahakalpa having within it intermediary kalpas, within time, which are concerned only with the living beings. And in that great creation, we are only human limit. But there are stars and galaxies and big supersensual objects. The transformations of time, the characteristic of a time period kalpa, the differences in the intermediary kalpas, etc., will be discussed hereafter later in the third skandha. Now I shall describe the events of the kalpa known as Padma. Therefore, Saunaka said, O Suta, you told us earlier that Vidura, the great devotee of the Lord, having abandoned all these relatives, a difficult feat for anyone to accomplish, went about visiting various holy places in the country, and that he attained spiritual enlightenment by contacting with Maitreya. So he is putting a question that, O Suta, the narrator, you just mentioned before that the great devotee of the Lord, who is called Vidura, he left his own kingdom and everything, and he planned to go to different holy places of pilgrimage, and he attained illumination in this way, attained spiritual enlightenment with Maitreya. Where did the conversation between Vidura and Maitreya took place? So where Maitreya and Vidura, they have the conversation, and that's very enlightening conversation. Where did it happen? What spiritual instructions did Maitreya give to Vidura in reply to the question he put? Tell us all about Vidura's movement and why he first left his relatives and why he returned to them afterwards. The Suta said, listen, I shall tell you what Sukha said to Parikshit when the latter put these very questions to him. So now it is this creation is now, chapter is ending here. The sum and substance is very complicated to us. How the creation came, how the gross world created, how the subtle world created. But ultimately we come to the conclusion that it has come from Brahman, and this manifestation is called Maya, and this one should not get attached to this Maya because it is not permanent. God is permanent. So Maya and Mai. So that was ended. And at the end this question is asking that the Vidura, Vidura is the whose uncle? Uncle of whom? Vidur.
Vidur was the Pandava's uncle,
Arjuna.
Pandu and Vidura.
So Pandu means Arjuna and 5 brothers. Their uncle, his name was Vidura. He is a very pious person. And how he attained liberation? Seeing this, all the condition of this war and fight, and then he left everything afterwards and went on pilgrimage and attained the illumination. So now this Saunaka is putting this question, please tell us that story. The great sage what is called Vidura. He is not a sage, but how he left home and going to different places of pilgrimage and attend to the liberation. If you have any interest, then we are finished here, the second book here. But if you want to have some calculation they have given, we are talking about, we do not know anything, but Indian thought is so great. They have given the concept of time with human years. I'll just, for fun, I will read a few. It says, time in relation to Brahma's life. We now understand Brahma is who? Who is Brahma? Brahma is the creator of the universe. Acha, Brahma's life means how long one Brahma lives, no? Like one president. In the country, president can rule for how many years? 4 years. So Brahma can live for 100 years. One Brahma. And this Brahma dies. Then what will happen? Second president will come. His duration is 4 years. So president's post is 4 years. Similarly, Brahma's period is 100 years of lifetime. But Brahma's lifetime, not our lifetime. So now Brahma's life is compounded as follows according to the Puranas. What is called 1 year of them, 360 human years. Our year, if we live for 360 years, that makes 1 year of the celestial beings. 12,000 of the celestial year is called Chatur Juga, 4 period. Satyateta, Dapar, Kali. Baba, can you understand? 360 human years, hours. If you live for 360 years, then that is the 1 year of the celestial people who are very finer and higher level. And their 12,000 celestial year of this subtle makes one Chaturjuga. And 2,000 Chaturjugas make 1 day of Brahma. 1 day of Brahma is what? 2,000 Chaturjugas. 1 Chaturjuga is 4,322,000 human years. Anyhow, it gives a concept of time very difficult. That means Brahma, we cannot concept 1 day of Brahma, and he lives for 100 years. 1 day of Brahma is so big we cannot conceive. He multiplied it 24 hours, 1 day, time, 365 days, and he lives for 100 years. So they have given, they say 311,000 billion human years. They are giving the calculation. Ancient time they calculated this big, we are now only thinking big numbers, but they are saying that Brahma, 1 year of Brahma, is equal to 311,000 billion human years. 311,000 billion, 311,000, 1 billion years of human life, 340 billion. What is that? I could not understand. Like that they have given calculation of all this, what we have read now. Vaivasvato, 14 manus, Tamara, Raiva, Chakshura, Bahabripa. Okay. Now, third book starts. We will start the third book reading. Tritiya Skanda. It is called the third Skanda or book. And first chapter and verse number 1. Sri Sukadev is a great sage, is talking about, Shuka said, after having left his home of plenty for the life of a hermit in the forest, Vidura put these very questions to the sage Maitreya. Maitreya was a sage. Vidura, he was the uncle, as I said, Mama, no? Of the Pandavas, Arjuna, Yudhishthira.
He was the brother of Dhritarashtra.
Dhritarashtra brother, that means what will be his relationship with Pandus?
3 brothers. Because Amba, Ambalika, 3 sisters. So Amba didn't get married. Bhishma wanted to have all 3 of them. So Ambika and Ambalika, they came and they got married to Vichitrabhija. So he could not have child. So then they asked Vyasa to come and have these children. So Ambika and Ambalika, these 2 girls, Pandu and Dhritarashtra, they were born from Vedanta. Then another, but both of them were handicapped kind of. One was blind, another didn't have good skin color and all. So then they wanted Vyasa to meet another time. So none of them agreed. Instead, they sent their maid to meet Vyasa. And with the maid, that Vidura was born. So their father is Vyasa. 3 of them came from Dhritarashtra, Pandu and Vidura.
That means what? What is the relationship? Oh, brother, okay.
Same
That's
father.
not uncle then.
Yeah.
But Vidura is the brother of
Pandu
and
and
Dhritarashtra. Okay. Dhritarashtra and Pandu. That means Arjuna's uncle, that I am saying.
That is what I'm saying.
Arjuna's uncle. I am saying Arjuna's uncle. Okay. Good, anyway. So, after having left his home of plenty, because he was the king, for the life of a hermit in the forest, Vidura, a great person, put these very questions to when he met the sage. The sage is named Maitreya. Maitreya. Evam etat pura prishto Maitreyo Bhagavan kila ksatra vanang pravishtena taktva sagriham riddhitam. So, that kshatriya, vanang pravishtena, entering into the forest, taktva sagriho mriddhiman, all these glories and pomp and grandeur of the kingly, palatial, all comforts, he entered into the Vana, and then he met the sage whose name is Maitreya Rishi, Maitreya. And he asked this question to him. When the Supreme Lord Krishna went as the emissary of your forefather to Duryodhana's court, he rejected the latter's invitation to his palace and preferred to stay in Vidura's house as he deemed it was his own house. So holy and inviting was the home which Vidura now abandoned to stay in the forest. So he is saying that Bhagavan, Vidura was so much devoted that the Lord Krishna take the invitation of Vidura and rejected the pompous and welcoming invitation from Duryodhana. So he is saying so holy and inviting was the home of Vidura, and that Vidura have now abandoned that also to stay in the forest. So the king, then questioning, said, O great one, when did Vidura met Maitreya? When did the conversation between them took place? please describe all these to me. Fourth verse. The question put by the pure-minded Vidura to so great a personage as Maitreya must necessarily be of great significance and fit to receive serious attention of good and holy men. So he said, because Krishna took your house and abandoned Duryodhana's palatial invitation, so that was precious. Why do you give up your house and you are moving into the forest and going to the sage Maitreya? So what was the reason? Why did you give up that? That was the question. Question put by the pure-minded Vidura to say to so great a person like Maitreya. That what the question? He says, when the Supreme Lord Krishna went as an emissary to father, when your father went when Krishna went to compromise that the war to stop the war, he went Duryodhana's court, and he rejected the latter's invitation, Duryodhana's invitation, and entered to house. So holy and inviting was the home which Vidura now abandoned to stay. So the king is asking, tell me, when did the conversation between them take place, and what was the conversation? What is the matter of discussion? Suta, the narrator, then started saying, the most learned Sukha, on being thus questioned, began to reply, being highly pleased. Then Sukha started saying, what he said, verse number 6. When the Raja Dhritarashtra, bent on supporting his wicked sons by any unrighteous means, attempted to burn the helpless and orphaned sons of Pandu in a house of lac, the noble-minded Vidura may be said to have left the place in disgust. What happened? To kill them, all the 5 brothers and their Draupadi and mother, Kunti, they prepared a lac house made of lac. Lac is very inflammable, no? You put fire and it catches the fire so fast. So that their idea was there, they made a house in such a way, when they will be inside, they will burn them alive. That was the plan of Duryodhana and others. So, but Vidura came to know that, and he made a plan to save them. So, lac house, the noble-minded Vidura may be said to have left the palace in disgust. When the Raja Dhritarashtra cared not to prevent the most despicable act of his own son, Dussasana, in dragging by the hair into the assembly of the Panchali, the queen of the Kurus, who was to him like his own daughter-in-law, while she shed copious tears flowing down her chest, dissolving the kumkum powder she had applied thereon, then may Vidura be said to have left that place. So, seeing the torture and inhuman injustice with the Draupadi's insult, some say Vidura may have left because of that reason. When Yudhishthira, the most righteous and truthful one, who was defeated in the foul play of a dice, returned from exile in the forest according to stipulations, and demanded the restoration of his kingdom, and Raja Dhritarashtra failed to comply out of greedy infatuation, then may Vidura be said to have left the place. So they are bringing, there may be many causes. Some may think he has left because that when Raja Dhritarashtra supporting the blind, his own son, and helpless and orphaned the sons of Pandu, no? That may be, some may think that is the That make him disgusted. That's why he left the kingdom, Vidura. Some may say, now Dhritarashtra cared not to prevent the most despicable action of Dushasan, therefore, and also insulted the Draupadi in the courthouse. That made Vidura very feel very bad. That's why he renounced his kingship, not kingship, but in the court, and left the kingdom. And some say the Yudhishthira, most righteous king, when he, after going to exile and came back and demanded their kingdom, but that time also they did not give, due to then Dhritarashtra didn't, Raja Dhritarashtra failed to comply out of greedy infatuation, because that made Vidura frustrated. That's why he left. That may be another cause. When the hapless Dhritarashtra would not give ear to the very acceptable and cordial message of compromise delivered by the world-honored Krishna, deputed as the messenger by the Pandavas, then may Vidura be said to have left his house for the forest. That may be another cause. That Dhritarashtra would not give any ear when Bhagavan Krishna came to negotiate and to say, give them little something, rejected. So that may be one cause that Vidura may have left. When his brother Dhritarashtra once called him, Vidura noted as a wise counselor to advise him on some matter of great importance, Vidura gave him a piece of advice that has been famous among the thoughtful counselors as Vidura's counsel. It is as follows. Vidura was asked, what is the best to be situation, what is the best decision to be taken now? And Vidura gave some counseling to Duryodhana. Vidura's counsel, it said, what he said, 11 verses. Give back his ancestral portion to Yudhishthira, who is even now behaving with infinite patience in spite of the offenses you have committed against him, offenses at which his brother Bhima is hissing like a provoked serpent and causing you immense terror. Bound to the sons of Pritha as his son, there still resides in Dwarka Bhagavan Krishna, the leader of the Jadavas and the master of the Devas and holy men and the conqueror of all rulers of the world. An embodiment of evil and a denouncer of God, Duryodhana, resides in your house, hostile to Krishna, and so deprived of all goodness. You are culturing this essential essence of evil regarding to it by your son. If you desire the good of your clan, drive away that center of evil from your home without any more. Irritated by the speech of Vidura, a paragon of virtue, Duryodhana stood there with his lips quivering in anger. Along with his friends like Karna, Shakuni, Dussasana and others, he insulted the virtuous Vidura. He said, who has introduced this fellow here, a rogue, a slave girl's son, treacherous to those who have fed him till now? He has turned antagonistic to them and is allying himself with their enemies. Push him out of the palace. Let us hear the foul fellow. Let us hear the fellow howling. Through thus, struck with fierce wordy saps at vulnerable sports, Vidura departed peacefully without any hatred in his mind, throwing his weapons at the door of the palace and looking upon the whole affair as the mysterious works of the Lord's Maya. That Vidura, who was blessing for the clan of the Kurus, thus departed from Hastinapur and for securing the Lord's grace, travelled on pilgrimage to all the sacred spots of the earth, sanctified by the different manifestation of Maha Vishnu, the washings of whose feet form the sacred river Ganga. So do you get everything? What did he say? Yeah, they said that when Vidura gave a good counseling to Dhritarashtra, give back. They have come, their share you give, and they are legitimately now to get it back their own kingdom. And why are you listening to your son who is not behaving properly, insulting Krishna and others also? Then Duryodhana become mad and insulted Vidura in the courthouse. He said, get out of this people. Why this guy is here staying in our court and insulting us? Throw him out. And then he left his weapon and everything, and out of mood of renunciation went around the whole country, going to places of pilgrimage. So that is the reason he may have gone. So there may be different reasons why Vidura left. That is the question. Why Vidura left the palace? So these are these different reasons is given. So, because it is Bhagavad is such, we are reading so fast as someone knowing the good Mahabharata stories, they can understand much better. But we can also get a glimpse, but we have no patience to go through those details. But these are reasons, 4 reasons already given why Vidura left the palace and went on pilgrimage. He visited alone holy cities like Mathura, glades like Vrindavan, hills like Govardhana, bathed in the clear waters of river and lakes, and worshipped at shrines dedicated to multiform images of the Lord. Pure and disciplined in his way of life, bathing in holy waters, lying only on the bare ground, unmindful of bodily needs, dressed sanctily like an avadhuta, and unrecognized by any of his own people, Vidura traveled from place to place, observing vows that is pleasing to Lord Hari. Traveling all over the land of Bharata, India, in this way, he reached the Prabhasa by the time Yudhishthira, after Mahabharata war, had begun to rule the land. So Vidura was moving from one place to another place, by that time the Mahabharata war was over, and Yudhishthira became the king of India. And that time this Vidura met. He began to rule the land, having brought the whole country under army and one regal umbrella. It's all one India. And that Bharata, he became the king, defeating Duryodhana, Dushasana and others. There he happened to hear about the total destruction of his clansmen, of all those who were near and dear to him, to the fratricidal war, even as a bamboo forest is reduced to ashes by the conflagration caused by the violent friction between the constituent bamboos. The fire starts with the bamboo, dry bamboo heating, or the bonfire. Sad and silent, he walked towards the source of the river Saraswati. Who? Vidura. Vidura heard about the story and the war and the destruction of the so many people of his own clan, and then he walked towards the river Saraswati's route, where the Saraswati river started, that place. Along that river he resorted to holy regions associated with Tirtha, Trita, Shukra, Manu, Pritha, Agni, Asti, Vayu, Sudasa, cows, Guha and Saddha Devi, different gods and goddesses. Many were the other holy places he visited in that region, all temples of the Lord Vishnu, founded by great rishis and devas, and having copulia with the markings of the Lord, discuss Sudarshana and the like, which help one to keep up the remembrance of Krishna. That means he went to different places of pilgrimage, which are associated with Lord Krishna, and he moved around all the tirthas. So here we end today. It is verse number 23 of the book number 3. So we'll start next day, book 3, verse number 24. That what we read ended here, that Vidura, why he left, there are several reasons that we heard. And what Vidura do? He went from places of pilgrimage to pilgrimage and pilgrimage, and forgetting about what was going on in the fight between Duryodhana and those. And by that time, Duryodhanas were killed, and he suddenly came to know that Yudhishthira is the king now. And during that time, and everyone was destroyed, and feeling that, he more got involved into visiting the tirthas with the mind of a renunciate, and he was moving from all places related to Krishna, Bhagavan Krishna. Today is what?
Today is 16.
Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.
7:30.
We will have our class at 7:30 today, and that class will be Santi Gita, the peace song. Nishant. Yes, Nishant. He said, he has a question. In my dream, I don't design anything. There is no process of evolution. Everything just appears all at once. While Vishnu is sleeping, he is the sapna or susupti. When he awakens, then only he creates. Hey, in my dream I don't design anything. No, you design. You do not know that.
Because, for example, that Kepule, the Benjamin dream, people say like that, he was watching that two snakes are trying to eat each other. One stayed with another monk. So that's how he found the Benjamin dream. So he got it in his dream.
So I think that one way we think that we don't design our dream. We are not really, tonight what dream will come, do we design now? Not the conscious mind doing. But the unconscious mind has so many impulses there, they all mix together, they generate their own design. And you cannot say, I don't design. It is my old thoughts, and so many thoughts are there. They become the vital energy to create and recreate my dream. So yes, I am active there, though not face to face we cannot understand that. But the factor is there, my old thoughts are the cause of bringing out tomorrow's dream. Or whatever I have dreamt so many years, all dreams have come from my own past thoughts, past ideas. No? They recreate themselves in permutation and combination. So there is no process of evolution. No, there is a process going on. We are not aware of that. People sometimes try to find some meaning in the dream. Why this, why that? I do not know. Ordinary people don't find the meaning. But there are people who can really relate to some, and if they have studied very deeply, they can find some correlation maybe. So Vishnu is also, this is also same thing with the Vishnu. That he has I will be many, that type of thought is there. And that thought takes a concretized form. Not concretized form, like when we are dreaming, for us everything is concrete there, is it not? Now I am seeing it is not real, but when I am going through the dream experience, there everything is real. So similarly, God has created this universe, everything is real now. But when revelation will come, you will see that nothing is. We wake up, as we wake up from our dream, we find that dream is all unreal. So when you wake up from this big dream, we'll see that Brahman alone is real. Okay? In Devi Mahatma, who is Madhu and Kaitava? How can they appear even while Vishnu is sleeping? They say it is the and they also generate, everything comes from Vishnu. But these demons also were created by him, and he comes from this, comes out of the cornomol, they call the mole, the wax which grows. We clean our ears, no? Sometimes sometimes we cannot hear much. Well, clean your ear. We go to doctor, they can clean it. So that means something generates. We don't do anything, but it generates there also. See, Krishna was the Lord for billions of years. He is now in his own way alone, and there generated some. That means some. Mala means.
Wax, I'm saying the wax.
Wax is the technical term, but it is here related to Ashura. Here the mala means mala dosa. That created this demon, and that demon became a troublesome for the whole world. So it seems likely that they existed prior to creation, according to that Markandeya Purana.
Here are the another these two paragraphs are talking about that kind of thing. These two paragraphs.
It is somebody has written, no, you Wikipedia. In the Wikipedia they gave, Bhagavata Purana states that during the creation, the demon Madhu and Kaitava stole the Vedas from Brahma and deposited them deep inside the waters of the primeval ocean. Vishnu in his manifestation as Hayagriva killed them and retrieved the Vedas. The bodies of Madhu and Kaitava disintegrated into 2 to 6 times, which is 12 pieces, 2 heads, 2 torsos, 4 arms and 4 legs. These are considered to represent the 12 seismic plates of the earth. According to another legend, Madhu and Kaitava are 2 demons who had become powerful enough to annihilate Brahma. However, Brahma spotted them and begged goddess Maha for help. That is, Vishnu then awake and the 2 conspiring demons were killed. This led to Vishnu being called Madhusudana, the killer of Madhu, and Mahamaya came to be known as Kaitavi. So, these are the story of the Chandi, Devi Mahatma. And then if during Krishna's lifetime King Dhritarashtra tried to kill his own brothers, children, how can we trust our kith and kin during this Kali Yuga? It is the mind. It is in every Yuga there are good people, bad people. But yes, that's why we cannot understand what's the play of this world, why the world is created. It is to prove that this world is a false thing. It is not a place of peace. It is not a place for joy. It is a place of suffering. So don't get entangled into, live in here, think of God. I think that is the... Okay, thank you. Jai Ma. We'll see you at 7:30. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace.